camera, they will open. And they are responding also, they are interacting with the resource persons. And now, participants, we have a very senior teacher of Aligarh Muslim University, very young as well as very senior teacher, Professor Sajid Jamal sir. Professor Sajid Jamal sir, although does not need any introduction, but because some of the participants are new, so I take liberty to introduce him in just 2 or 3 minutes. Participants, Professor Sajid Jamal sir is working as a professor, as I have already mentioned, in the Department of Education, Aligarh Muslim University, Aligarh, currently. He has the experience of teaching in 3 universities of India, 1 state university and 2 central universities. 2 central universities, one is Aligarh Muslim University and another one is Maulana Azad National Urdu University. In fact, he started his career at the Department of Education, Shibli National PG College, Azamgarh, in 2001. A very good academician, very good administrator. He was appointed first principal of newly established Manu City, Asansol, in 2013. He is the first principal of that center. He has also worked as principal of Manu City, Bhopal. In 2015, he came to Aligarh Muslim University as a professor. Since then, he is working here and he's helping the young teachers here, and he's motivating the young teachers, so including me. It is because of him, whatever schedule right now you are having in your hands, participants, he is behind this schedule. Not only behind this schedule, he is behind all these 20 programs. The success of this program actually is because of this great personality we have with us, Professor Sajid Jamal sir, along with Faiza madam. He is responsible for the success of these programs, NEP programs. Sir has published 7 books. Sir has published more than 30 research papers in various good journals. Sir has presented around 80 research papers in various national and international seminars and conferences. Sir has constructed 5 psychological skills. Those who are from psychology background or from any other background, they know the importance of these skills which we use in research. Sir has been the resource person of around 300 teacher training programs. Around, my friends, my participants, around 300 teacher training programs. And 50 teacher training programs he has organized. Not only he has been the part of these programs as a resource person, he has also organized 50 teacher training programs to train the higher education teachers. His several lectures you can find on YouTube. You just need to type Sajid Jamal. You will find his lectures there, and you will definitely enjoy those lectures which are there on YouTube. Sir, as I have already mentioned, that sir, right from Academic Staff College, then it became HRDC, then it became MMTTC. Sir is associated with all these 3. Means right now the name is MMTTC. And if you find FIP, you find orientation, if you find refresher course, you find any program, you will find him there giving lectures and training the teachers of higher education. At departmental level also, he has worked as assistant superintendent of examination. And one project came to Aligarh Muslim University in Aligarh Muslim University, of which he was the project coordinator, and it is because of his efforts 4 crore rupees were granted to Aligarh Muslim University, Aligarh. He has also worked as controller of examination of Manu for 2 years. He has collaborated with NCERT, many national bodies like NCERT, SCERT, CBSE, Tata Consultancy, TCS, UGC, National Testing Agency, Central Institute of Indian Languages, etc. And other bodies like NCERT and NIOS and many other bodies, and every university you will find him. I mean, rarely I see a day when he is not busy. Every time at 8 a.m. he's in the department, and he's the first one to enter in the department. Why I know? Because as and when he is in the department, he calls me and motivates me directly or indirectly. This is his personality. Not only me, there are many young teachers, many associate professors. It is because of him we are getting work also. Work in the sense that we are getting opportunities, we are getting lectures, we are getting other programs. We are actually here. He is responsible for introducing the young assistant professors as well as associate professors in the different universities of India. So we are very much thankful to you. We are very much grateful to you, sir, that you came to Aligarh in 2015 and you actually motivated us. Thank you. With these words, I would like to invite Professor Sajid Jamal sir to talk on one of the very important topics, that is curriculum design and development. Sir.
Okay. Thank you, Dr. Shakir, for such a comprehensive introduction. In fact, I don't think I do deserve for such a comprehensive introduction, but it's the generosity of Dr. Shakir that he talked so many good things about me. My friends, I just feel that I'm a teacher. You are also a teacher, and I have got this unique opportunity to address my fellow brethren and sisters. As Dr. Shakir mentioned, in fact, the topic that has been given to me today, that is curriculum design and development. So we all are teachers and we all need curriculum. We all have certain kind of relationship with the curriculum. So before the beginning, and what I want to present, in fact, I would like to know from you people, what is curriculum? What's your opinion about curriculum? So my friends, please be responsive. My friends, listening to me?
Yes, sir.
Sure.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So,
Yes, sir.
yeah, sure. Pant sir, Ashraf sir, yeah. Thank you. Rima ma'am, thank you. So my question is, what is curriculum?
Sir,
Yeah.
curriculum is like a draft or a blueprint for any academic or activity wherein the objective and the units will be there in and with that it has been designed in a way that after the completion of that means curricula, that outcomes will be there.
Okay. Ghosh sir, what do you teach, sir?
Sir, I am a faculty of political science. I am used to teach in a government college in West Bengal, sir. West Bengal.
Where?
Sir, in
West
the
Bengal,
district
where?
of Murshidabad. Murshidabad.
Okay, Ghosh. So any other opinion about the curriculum? Faiz sir, do you want to say something? Faiz sir? Okay. So any other opinion about the curriculum? Okay. No problem. Any other opinion about the curriculum? Rima ma'am, Ashraf sir?
Yes, sir.
Hmm.
Curriculum means in which each semester how much is our theory paper, how much is our practical, and how much is our term work, and completing the course, how much paper round of we study and term work do, and other courses we have to do.
Okay. Rima ma'am, what do you teach?
I am associate in Netaji Subhas Institute of Technology, EC department.
Okay. Any other opinion about curriculum? Anybody else want to say anything? No? Okay. So let me share my screen first, and then definitely I'm going to present. I'm going to
सर हिंदी में भी बता दीजिएगा सर.
जी
हिंदी इंग्लिश दोनों सर. हिंदी इंग्लिश दोनों में सर.
श्योर बता दो.
थैंक यू सर.
I'm sharing my screen. Can you see the screen now, my friends?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So what is curriculum? Is this slide visible to you all?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So I would like to request any one of you to please read the slide.
Sir, the in the slide there is what is curriculum. The word curriculum has been derived from the Latin word courier, which
Courier.
means race course used by chariots. Hence, it is any path or course of study to be undertaken by an educational institution to be covered in a specified time frame. The course of events can take place inside the educational institution and also outside it. Then it is the study of subjects taught. Next, it includes the experiences necessary for individuals of a society to have social skills, problem solving, and communication ability. Next, it is designed for both present and emerging purposes. And lastly, it is dynamic.
Okay. Who are you, sir?
Sir, my name is Shomal Ghosh, sir. Sir, Shomal
Okay.
Ghosh.
Oh, yeah. Okay, Ghosh, sir. Thank you. So, as Ghosh, sir, has just read, if you see etymologically, the word curriculum has been derived from the Latin word courier, which means race course, which means simply path. And through this meaning, you can understand that basically curriculum is a path moving on which you can move from one place to another place. In fact, in order to move from one place to another place, you have to have some path, and that path is curriculum. So in educational institutions, definitely you have some objectives, and in order to achieve those objectives, you have to follow some particular path, and that path is curriculum. Let me explain it through an example. Suppose you want to prepare engineers, doctors, surgeons, technicians. So definitely, in order to prepare such type of people, you have to follow a particular path, one particular way, one particular course of study you have to follow. But your purpose is to make them good political scientists, good sociologists, good literary persons, something like that. So definitely you have to follow another path, that is another course of study. So through etymological meaning, curriculum is what? The path which we follow in order to achieve our educational objectives. And definitely, if you will come to the second point, it is the study of the subject start. That is a very narrow meaning of curriculum. Basically, curriculum is much wider than this. Coming to the third point, curriculum includes the experiences necessary for individuals of a society to have, which skills? Social skills, problem solving skills, and of course, the communication ability. Coming to the fourth point, curriculum is designed for both present as well as the emerging purposes. Last point is curriculum is dynamic. So it is the point on which I would like to take your opinion. What you have understood through this point, curriculum is dynamic. My friends, please respond.
Yes, sir.
My question is, how you can say curriculum is dynamic?
Sir, we can say the curriculum as dynamic because whenever we have structured any curriculum with the requirements and demand of the time and the markets, it still is going through the evolution process. Now, if we follow earlier time, we have the CBCS model of means syllabus where the curriculum has been designed in a way. Now we have the NEP 2020 and where it has been selected like major minor. So naturally the curriculum has been dynamic in the sense that depend on the requirement and depend on the means the evolution of the educational process itself, the syllabus and the content of the curriculum will be keep on changing from time to time.
Okay. Any other opinion? Curriculum is dynamic. I'm taking opinion on this point. Okay. So, Dr. Ghosh, do you remember your days when you were in high school or intermediate classes or undergraduate classes, Dr. Ghosh?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So, do you think whatever you were taught at that stage, today's students also being taught the same thing?
No, sir. No,
it has
sir.
been changed. It has been changed.
Yes, sir.
So,
It has done
it is a characteristic of the curriculum, you know. with every passing year or with the passing time, some new things will come and old things will be deleted. So by this process, you are accepting new things and deleting old things. By this way, the curriculum becomes dynamic. So that's all about this slide. I'm quite sure you people have understood what curriculum is. Now, what is curriculum design and development? So to do that, in fact, I have just mentioned 2 points on my slide, and I would like to request any one of you to please read the slide. My friends, any one of you, please read the slide.
Sir, it's curriculum design and development, the heading, where it has been stated that curriculum design is a term used to describe the purposeful, deliberate, and systematic organization of curriculum instructional blocks within a class or course. In other words, it is a way for teachers to plan instruction. When teachers design curriculum, they identify what will be done, who will do it, and what schedule to follow. And next, curriculum development is defined as the process of selecting, organizing, executing, and evaluating the learning experiences on the basis of the need, abilities, and interest of learner, and on the basis of the nature of the society or community.
Right, Dr. Ghosh. Thank you. So, as Dr. Ghosh has just read, curriculum design is a term which is used to describe the purposeful, deliberate, and systematic organization of curriculum. Even before the students arrive, we decide each and everything: who will teach, where it will be taught, to whom it will be taught, how it will be taught, and how it will be assessed. So this is one thing. Another point, if you see, curriculum development is defined as a process of number 1, selecting, number 2, organizing, number 3, executing, and number 4, evaluating what the learning experiences of the students, and which is based on their needs, abilities, and interest, and of course on the basis of the nature of the society or community. So there are 2 terms, syllabus and curriculum, which are synonymously used, but definitely curriculum is much different from syllabus. So in order to clarify this point, in fact, I have made one slide. You can see this slide, and 5 points have been mentioned in this slide. So I'm quite sure these 5 points will be sufficient for you to understand how curriculum differs from syllabus. So I'd like to request any one of you to please read the slide. Friends,
Syllabus is
yes, ma'am, please start.
sure, sir. Curriculum and syllabus. Point 1, syllabus is a part of the curriculum. Second, syllabus is a narrower, whereas the curriculum is wider. Third, syllabus is written, curriculum may be written or hidden. Fourth, syllabus is concerned with the cognitive development, whereas curriculum is concerned with all-round development. Last, syllabus is concerned with mainly curricular aspects, whereas curriculum is concerned with the co-curricular aspects.
Thank you, ma'am. Who are you?
Sir, it's Dr. Priyanka Ghai.
Priyanka, ma'am, what do you teach?
Sir, my specialization is in law.
Oh, very good. Where, ma'am? Where do you teach?
Sir, currently I am associated with Amity Law School, Noida.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you.
Okay, sir.
Right. So, what's the difference between curriculum and syllabus? So, in the previous slide, I also mentioned that the syllabus is much narrower. It is a part of the curriculum, but curriculum is much wider. Now, coming to the third point, syllabus is written, curriculum may be written or hidden. So what does it mean? In order to prove this point, in fact, I would like to tell you one story. That story is very interesting. In fact, I'm a teacher educator, and my job is to teach the teachers, to train the teachers. And these teachers have a lot of social responsibilities. So in order to sensitize them what their social responsibility is, in fact, the moment I go first class that I take of my B.Ed students, in fact, in that first class, every year I used to tell this story. And this story The same story I am telling to you people also. This story revolves around one of the greatest warriors in the history, of course, Alexander the Great. So, my friends, before I'm telling the story, I would like to know from you people, do you know who was the teacher of Alexander the Great? My friends? My friends?
No, sir. Yes, sir.
Anybody?
No, sir.
Anybody?
His mother.
Okay. Who?
His mother.
His mother. Okay. All of you are connected to internet, I think, na?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So why not you Google it and find it? I'm waiting. You Google
Aristotle.
who? Yeah. Very good. Aristotle. Who are you, ma'am?
Baby Ritu Fukan from Digba College from the Department of English.
Okay, Phukan ma'am. Thank you. So Alexander's teacher was Aristotle, and it is said that it was Aristotle who groomed the personality of Alexander, and in fact, it was Aristotle who motivated the Alexander to win the whole world. You know, because Aristotle was a great philosopher, so he knew where Arabia is, where Persia is, where India is. He had the knowledge of the world, existing world at that time, and he motivated Alexander to win the world. So, there was one country in Europe, it was very strong, very prosperous, very big country, and Alexander wanted to win over it. So, with a large army, with a grand army, Alexander marched towards that country. So, he attacked on that country, and Alexander was very brave, and himself was very brave, and all of his generals almost were very brave. So, in that army, great warriors and very brave people were there, and Aristotle was also there. So Alexander attacked on that country. So many area of that country was won by Alexander, and finally the army of that country started fleeing from the battlefield. So they flew, or ultimately they took shelter in the fort of that country, which was situated on a river bank, and it was very strong fort. So that river at that time was flooded, and there was one wooden bridge on that river. But the moment the army flew and the army took shelter in the fort, they burned the bridge as well as all the boats and everything through which the river might be crossed. They removed from there so that Alexander's army could not come to the fort. Now it was a very difficult situation. For Alexander, victory would not be completed unless and until the fort is won. And fort can't be won unless and until Alexander's army could cross the river. So it was a difficult situation. So what to do? In order to do this, Alexander organized a meeting of all of his commanders, and Aristotle was also there in that. What to do? How to cross this river? So finally, someone suggested that someone of us should go to the river, enter into the water, try to know the depth of the river as well as the flow of the water. So the moment we'll be able to know the depth of the river as well as the flow of the water, on the basis of that, we'll be able to make some strategy how to cross this river. So that idea was liked by Alexander. But the million-dollar question was, who is going to the river? Who will enter into the water? So nobody offered his services. So since nobody offered his services, so finally Aristotle said, okay, Alexander, I will go to the river. I will enter into the water. I will try to know the depth of the river as well as the flow of the water. But he was forbidden by Alexander. And Alexander said, no, oh my great teacher, you don't go to the river, rather I will go to the river. Then after this, there was an argument between Alexander and Aristotle, which was very historical, that I am presenting before you people. So listening to it, Aristotle said, Alexander, you are the commander-in-chief of this grand army. So if you will go to the river, you will enter into the water and you will be drowned, then your whole army will lose its morale. And the great purpose for which we have come here will not be solved. listening to it, what Alexander said, that was very historical. He said, yes, oh my great teacher, if I will go to the river, I will enter into the water and I will be drowned and you will be alive, then in turn you can make thousands of Alexanders. But oh my great teacher, if you will go to the river and you will be drowned, then me and my whole army will not be able to prepare a single Aristotle. My friend, you have listened the story?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Nice story, motivating story. My friends?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Of course.
Sir.
Of course.
जी सर.
Of course. Of course. अच्छी थी story ये?
Sir.
जी. Now tell me, is it written in my syllabus that I have to tell this story on every first class of my B.Ed students? Is it written? Tell me. No.
No, sir. No, sir.
Of course not. Of course not. So why I tell this story to my students? Tell me.
Motivate us.
Sir, in order to motivate,
them.
in order to inform
of course, in order to realize them what social responsibility lies on their shoulder. And in such a society, that society keeps the teachers above than God. So the famous lines of Kabir that says, Guru Govind dou khade, kake lagau pae, Balihari Guru aapne Govindiyo bataya. That is, teacher is greater than the God because it's the teacher which shows the path towards the God. जिस सोसाइटी में टीचर्स की इतनी रिस्पेक्ट है, तो जाहिर सी बात है कि वहां पर उसकी रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटीज क्या है. इन ऑर्डर टू सेंसिटाइज माय स्टूडेंट्स, definitely I tell them this story, though it is not written anywhere that I have to tell this story. So through this example, what I want to let you understand that, my friends, syllabus is strictly prescribed. It is strictly written. How many units? In every unit, how many topics? In how many days, how many periods you have to finish? How much marks have been allocated to every unit? And how you are going to assess. I mean, everything will be strictly written. But curriculum may be written as well as it might be hidden. Coming to the fourth point, syllabus is concerned with the cognitive development, whereas curriculum is concerned with the all-round development. So can you explain this point to me, my friends? What you have understood through this point? My friends, please respond.
Pardon, sir, question. What is your question?
Read the fourth
Sir,
point.
हिंदी में question करें sir.
Read the fourth
हिंदी में
point
sir.
on the slide and tell me what you have understood through this point.
Sir, in
Yeah.
in the slide number 4, where it says the syllabus is concerned with the cognitive development, whereas curriculum is concerned with the all-round development. It can be taken like syllabus is a part and curriculum is the totality. So naturally, when you talked about sir the syllabus, it's think about, it's forces us to think, to judge, to know about the fact or a topic. But but curriculum is something which not only talks about to think about in a particular, for a particular subject, it forces us, or it enables us to apply that knowledge to the other sector also.
Okay, my friend. Any other opinion regarding this? So say cognitive development, certain kind of mental development, and syllabus is concerned with that. What you have to teach, how you have to teach, how students will understand, how they will remember, how they will apply in their real life. So somehow, I mean, more concerned with the mental development. But all-round development is much more. It involves physical development, mental development, moral development, social development, emotional development, spiritual development, so many types of development. So a curriculum is always concerned with the all-round development, whereas syllabus is concerned with the cognitive. Finally, the last point, syllabus is concerned with mainly curricular aspects to cater to the needs of cognitive development, whereas curriculum is concerned with the co-curricular aspects. It is focused on, debates, quizzes, games and sports, so many things, so that you can ensure that through co-curricular activities, all-round development is taking place among the students. So these were the 5 points. I'm sure you people have understood through these points how curriculum differs from the syllabus, though they are synonymously used. Now, coming to the purposes of curriculum design, there might be so many purposes of curriculum design, but keeping in view the diversity of my participants, I have just focused on 5 points. So, any one of you, please read this slide.
Sir, purpose of curriculum design,
Yeah.
number 1, to improve student learning. Number 2, to create a seamless continuum from elementary to secondary and senior secondary school. Number 3, to achieve the learning goals at different stages. Number 4, to prepare the students to face the real life challenges. And lastly, to ensure all-round development of students.
Right. Who are you, sir?
Sir, Shomalla Ghosh.
Okay, Ghosh, sir. Okay. Sorry, in fact, I couldn't see your face, my friend, because before me, the slide is open. Okay. Thank you, Ghosh, sir. So these are the purposes of curriculum design. Of course, to improve student learning, through curriculum design, we want to know frequently what are the shortcomings, what are their problems, where they are facing challenges, and so that we may do the needful, and by that way, the learning of the students may be improved. Creating a seamless continuum. So what is this seamless continuum? Something is taught at elementary level. If you'll come to the secondary level, its level will be increased. If you'll come to the senior secondary level, further its level, its difficulty level, its complexity will be increased. If you'll come to the undergraduate level, further its complexity will be increased. And if you'll come to the postgraduate level, again, its complexity will be increased. So there should not be any discontinuity, rather seamless continuum from elementary to secondary to senior secondary to undergraduate to postgraduate. This is the second purpose of curriculum. Every stage, whether it is elementary, primary, secondary, senior secondary, undergraduate stage, every stage has certain learning goals, and through curriculum design, we want to achieve those learning goals. Then to prepare the students to face the real life challenges. So at this juncture of time, I would like to know what you have understood through this point, my friends. Preparing the students to face the real life challenges. Please explain it.
Sir, it means that actually there must be a connection between what we have been taught and what and how we will apply it in order to solve the problem which we are facing in the day-to-day life. Actually, through it talks about the theoretical knowledge, and after we attain the theoretical knowledge, we need to apply that knowledge in order to analyze or in order to solve the problem through which we are going on day by day.
Okay. Of course, sir. Every knowledge that is given to our students in our classroom by us, the purpose is they should utilize, they should apply this knowledge in their real life so that they may solve various challenges. So this is the fourth purpose of curriculum design. Then coming to ensuring the all-round development of the students. Already I have explained all-round development. So curriculum basically focuses on all-round development of the students. Now, what are the components of curriculum? So if you'll go through the literature, you will find some authors have given 3 components, some have given 5 components, some have given 7 components. But for the sake of clarity in my presentation, I have just selected 4 components. And in my opinion, these 4 components of a curriculum are very important. These components are mentioned on the slide, and I would like to request any one of you to please tell me how many components of the curriculum have been mentioned on this slide and what are these components. So any one of you, please respond.
Sir, 4 components are there, and first components of curriculum is 4. First, aims and objectives. Number 2, subject matter. Number 3, learning experiences, and number 4, evaluation.
Evaluation. Now, you see all these, they are connected to each other. as will be your aims and objectives, accordingly the subject matter you will choose. I'm repeating the same example. If your purpose is to make good surgeons, good technicians, good engineers, so you have to have some practicals also in your subject matter. Only theoretical knowledge will not be sufficient. So as will be your aim. And if your purpose is simply to make them good political scientists, to make them good sociologists, to make them, a good literary person, so I think theoretical knowledge will be sufficient. But in order to make them surgeons, in order to make them good technicians, definitely theoretical knowledge will not be sufficient. You have to include some practical activities in your content, in your subject. So as will be your aims and objectives, accordingly the subject matter you will choose, and as will be your subject matter, accordingly the learning experiences you will choose. So if in your subject matter theoretical content is there and practical content is there, so theoretical content you will teach in the lecture theater, and for the practical content you have to accompany them to the laboratory, somewhere in the industry, somewhere away from your college. Moving to some mountains, moving to some rivers, moving to some industrial plants, something like that. But if your content is totally theoretical, so there is no need to go anywhere. Just you will be focusing on that, and through some lecture method, you will be finishing your syllabus. Then accordingly, you will evaluate as if you have taught only theoretical things, only bookish knowledge you have given. So MCQs, short answer type questions and long answer type questions will be sufficient to evaluate, sufficient to assess the performance of the students. But if you have provided them exposure to the laboratory, so only MCQs and short answer type questions and long answer type questions will not be sufficient. Rather, you have to assess them, their skills as well. So accordingly, your evaluation will be. So these four are related with each other. Let me summarize it. As will be your aims and objectives, accordingly the subject matter you will choose. As will be your subject matter, accordingly the learning experiences you will choose. And as you will choose the learning experiences, accordingly you will evaluate. So in a nutshell, these four are the components of the curriculum. Moving to the next slide, now I would like to talk about types of curriculum design. So again, if you go through the literature, you will find there are so many types of curriculum design. But mainly these three types of curriculum design are prevalent in our country, India. So I'm solely focusing on these 3 points. So subject-centered curriculum design, the first one, the most rigid one, the most formal one, and the most widely used one, and the most, you can say, oldest one as well. So subject-centered curriculum design. Learner-centered curriculum design is a little bit newer. It is a little bit more flexible, and it is not as formal and as structured as the first one, that is subject-centered curriculum design. Whereas the problem-centered curriculum design, the third type of curriculum design, which is mentioned on this slide, definitely is different from the subject-centered as well as the learner-centered. So on these 3 types of curriculum design, I'm focusing one by one. So first of all, I would like to focus on the subject-centered curriculum design. So for the sake of clarity in my presentation, I have taken 5 points, and I'm quite sure through these 5 points, you'll be able to understand what subject-centered curriculum design is. So the points are mentioned on the slide, and I would like to request any one of you to please go through the slide. Please read the slide loudly.
Sir, subject center curriculum design, number 1. Subject center curriculum design revolves around a particular subject matter or discipline. This type of curriculum design tends to focus on the subject rather than the individual. Number 3, it is the most common type of curriculum used in India. Number 4, subject-centered curriculum design describes what needs to be studied and how it should be studied. And lastly, it is not student-centered and is constructed without taking into account the specific learning styles of the students.
Thank you, Ghosh sir. Thank you. It seems that you are the only active participant in this group. I don't know. What about other my brothers and sisters? My brothers and sisters, you are listening to me or not?
Yes.
Yes, sir. Listening.
So please be responsive. Please be
No,
responsive.
sir.
Please be responsive as well. So thank you, Dr. Ghosh. So as in the beginning, I mentioned subject-centered curriculum design. It is the oldest one, and it is most widely used in our country, India. So it revolves around a particular subject matter or discipline, and it is decided by the experts of that subject matter or discipline. I mean, nothing we keep into our mind except the nature of the subject matter. Student is not important for us. Their needs and interest, anything is not important to us. So whether they like it or not, no. Since we are the experts and we think how much they should know of this particular subject at undergraduate level and how much they should know at postgraduate level. So they are immature, whether they like it or not, but we are keeping it in the curriculum and they have to somehow, study it. They have somehow to have mastery over it. Because we are the subject experts and we know what is required to be known. So for example, mathematics, so suppose I'm an expert of mathematics. So what minimum knowledge of mathematics an undergraduate student should have, that I know because I am the subject expert. So accordingly, I will keep all those things in my curriculum and I will design the curriculum so that students may learn that minimum concept. So definitely, I mean, individual is not important. The subject and the nature of the subject is very important. As I mentioned, it is the most common type of curriculum design which is used in India. And definitely, it mentions each and everything, what needs to be studied and how it should be studied as well. Because some of the topics, they are better covered through, lecture method. But there are some topics, they might be covered through case study. They might be taught through various other, strategies. So everything, I mean, the experts will decide what is to be taught and how it should. And definitely, its biggest drawback is that it is, of course, not student-centered, and it is constructed without taking into account the specific learning styles of the student. So individual is not important, rather the subject and nature of the subject is this. Contrary to it, we have another curriculum design that is known as learner-centered design, which is more flexible and, of course, which is better and which is newer. So I would like to request any one of you to please read this slide, except Dr. Ghosh, because Dr. Ghosh has read so much. So anyone else, please read this slide.
May I, sir?
Yeah, please.
Learner-centered curriculum design. This
Yeah.
curriculum design takes each individual's needs, interests, and goals into consideration. Learner-centered curriculum design is meant to empower learners and allow them to shape their education through choices. Instructional plans in a learner-centered curriculum are differentiated, giving students the opportunity to choose assignments, learning experiences, or activities. The drawback to this form of curriculum design is that it is labor-intensive. It also requires that teachers balance student wants and interests with student needs and required outcomes, which is not an easy balance to obtain. Thank you, sir.
Right. I think you are Fukan, ma'am, na?
Yes, sir.
Okay, Fukan. Thank you. So learner-centered curriculum design, it is better in comparison to subject-centered because it takes into account each individual's needs, interests, and goals. Its purpose is to empower learners, of course. And the beauty of this curriculum design is that it provides so many opportunity to the students to choose. I mean, if they are more comfortable with assignments, let them choose assignment, or they prefer case study, okay, let them choose the case study. If they are more comfortable with the lecture, okay, let them take the lecture. I mean, so many liberty and so many freedom we provide in this learner-centered curriculum design. So, can you give any such example of a learner-centered curriculum design? Any example that you know? My friends, have you heard about CBCS?
Yes, sir.
Right. So what is it? I'm asking, what is CBCS?
Sir,
Yeah.
learner. Sir, what, sir?
CBCS,
Sir, CBCS is choice
choice-based
based
credit
curriculum
system.
system.
So that's a
Credit
perfect
system.
example. That's a perfect example of learner-centered curriculum design. So some subjects you fix, some papers you fix that everyone will study it, but somewhere you give choices. So 1 out of 3, 1 out of 5, or 2 out of 10, or 3 out of 7. I mean, such type of choices you give. So just so that their needs, their interest may be taken into account. So CBCS is a perfect example of learner-centered curriculum design. So, but though this curriculum design is better than the subject-centered curriculum design, but definitely the drawback is that it is labor-intensive, and always to accommodate the students' interest is not possible. And particularly in our country, we have a huge classroom. Sometimes 120, sometimes 150 students are there in one particular class. So accommodating the choices of so many students, of course, is very difficult. So these are the drawbacks. Now coming to the third type of curriculum design, that is problem-centered curriculum design. So what is it? 2 points have been mentioned by me on this slide. I'm quite sure going through these 2 points, you'll be able to understand what problem-centered curriculum design is. So I'd like to request anyone of you to please read the slide. Friends, anyone of you, please read the slide.
Sir,
Yeah.
problem-centered curriculum design.
Hmm.
This is also a form of student-centered design. Problem-centered curricula focus on teaching students how to look at a problem and come up with a solution to the problem. Students are thus exposed to real-life issues, which helps them develop skills that are transferable to the real world. And number 2, problem-centered curriculum design increases the relevance of the curriculum and allows students to be creative and innovative as they are learning. The drawback to this form of curriculum design is that it does not always take learning styles into consideration.
Okay, Dr. Ghosh. So problem-centered curriculum design. So in the beginning, I mentioned that whatever the bookish knowledge you give to your students, your expectation is that they will utilize this particular knowledge in their real life issues. And sometimes I'm quite sure you will agree with me that bookish knowledge miserably fails in practical life. Isn't it, my friends? Do you agree with me?
Yes, sir.
And why it happens? Why it happens? Bookish knowledge fails in real life?
क्योंकि हम लोग उसको प्रैक्टिकल करके देखते नहीं हैं.
Yes, in fact, हम उनको रियल लाइफ की प्रॉब्लम से ज्यादा आगाह नहीं कर पाते हैं, ज्यादा हम उनको रियल लाइफ के प्रॉब्लम के बारे में नहीं बता पाते हैं, सिर्फ बुकिश बातें बताते हैं और बुकिश नॉलेज फिर वो फेल हो जाता है. Now let me give you one
Yes,
example.
sir.
Yeah. Let me give you one example. That's very perfect example. That's very good example. So there is one IS officer in our country. Now he is no more. In fact, he has died in the last, I think, month. That is in the month of May. His name is Musa Raza. He was very active, dynamic, and very vibrant IS officer of his time. Uniqueness of him was that he worked with the 5 prime ministers of India. That's very unique, in fact. And basically, I think no important ministry of the union government is there in which he has not served. So he has been at many places. Basically, he started his career. He was a Gujarat cadre IS officer. So basically, he started his career from Gujarat. And his first appointment was as the collector of Surat district of Gujarat. So, after the retirement, he retired in 1995 and then he settled in Chennai. And in Chennai, he ran a lot of educational institutions. So, in one of the programs of his educational institution, he invited me as a chief guest. And it's my hobby that whenever I met with a very unique personality, I ask any one thing which might be very, very memorable to that personality, that I may know through him, and that I may share with my students who are teachers. So if I will share that thing with my teachers, it will be propagated to so many people, because they will share it with their students in turn. So I asked, sir, you are an IS officer, and there is no need to say you have solved so many problems, because an IS officer solves so many problems. And since you have been you have worked with 5 Prime Minister of India, you have worked in many ministries of the country, important ministries of the country. So definitely there is no need to say you have solved so many problems. But sir, any problem that you have solved in very difficult situation, if it is there, so you please tell it to me, you please share it to me, share it with me, and I will share it with my students. So he said, yes, Professor. As an IS officer, I have solved so many problems, but one problem I solved in a very difficult situation. So I said, yes, sir, please tell, what was that problem? So he said, Professor, I qualified IS at a very young age, at the first attempt, and I was given the Gujarat cadre, and my first posting was as the collector of Surat district of Gujarat. And you know, Surat is situated near the river Tapi. So he said that each and everything was normal in the city on 28th of July 1968. So I took my dinner, I retired, I went to my bedroom, and I slept around 11 in the night. So around 5 in the morning, I got a very violent knock at my door. Someone was knocking very violently at the door of my bedroom. So I opened the door and I saw my secretary is there. So I became very angry and I asked, what has happened? Why you are knocking so violently? So the secretary said, sir, whole city is flooded. My friends, what secretary told to Musa Raza? My friends,
The city has flooded.
Whole city is flooded.
whole city is flooded. Whole city is flooded. So Musa Raza said, I said, are you mad? When I slept in the night at 11, not even a single drop of rain was there. Now in as many as 6 hours, you are saying that whole city is flooded. He said, yes, sir. Heavy downpour was there. And since Surat is situated near the river Tapti, so whole Tapti river got flooded. And that water of river Tapti came to the streets and, roads of Surat. So the whole city is flooded. Since you are the collector of this city, so I thought that you should be woken up to do the needful. Now see, it was very difficult time. I'm talking about 1968. At that time, there were no ATMs, there were no mobile phones, communication and transportation channels were not very much advanced. So definitely it was a very difficult situation. But these IS officers are trained to solve the problems. So he said, okay, now let's work on the embankment of the river. नदी के किनारे जो बांध बने होते हैं, तो चलो ऐसा करते हैं, उस बांध पे काम करते हैं. Let's work on the embankment. So what we do, we will open those embankments from some places, 4 to 5 places. We will break those embankments. The moment we will break that embankment, so what will happen? Water will pass through. Water will the water of the river will go out, and the moment the water of the river will go out, the water of the streets and water of the roads will come to the river, and slowly situation will get normalized. So definitely whole of his team at collector office, they worked hard, and within 4 to 5 days, that flood problem was solved. But another problem arose. And what was that problem? That problem was law and order problem. Why? Because when the people of Surat slept in that fateful night, in fact, they didn't store enough things to eat. So whatever the food, whatever the fruits, whatever the milk, whatever the other things, eatable things they had, they consumed it in 4 to 5 days. Now nothing was there in their kitchen. They were hungry. They wanted to eat. And things were there in the market. But the problem was that people didn't have money. And I'm talking about 1968. At that time, ATMs definitely were not there. So it was again a very difficult situation. People were hungry. They wanted to eat. Things were there in the market, but the problem was that people didn't have the money. So immediately Musa Raza summoned all the bank managers of the Surat city and instructed them to open the bank immediately. So all the bank managers with the folded hands, they said, sir, we can't make bank functional. Why? Because our whole currency is wet, our ledger is wet, our account is wet. So it will be taking at least 1 week to make the bank function. So it was a very difficult situation. With a lot of difficulty, he tried to contact to the chief secretary of the state. So the chief secretary said, at this difficult time, I can't help you, but Musa Raza, whatever the decision you are going to take, definitely I will support. In those difficult situations, Musa Raza took a very risky decision, and I'm quite sure people of only such caliber like Musa Raza can take such a risky decision in such a difficult situation. He said, okay, no problem. Bring the A4 size paper to the collector office and involve so many people and instructed them to bring the scissor, कैंची लाओ, कागज लाओ और कैंची लाओ. Now cut the pieces of paper in the shape of note. So at that time, 4 notes were prevalent. 1 rupee note, which was shorter, 2 rupee note, which was a little bit bigger, 5 rupee note, again bigger, and 10 rupee note, again bigger. So cut the papers in the shape of note. So some papers cut in the shape of 1 rupee note, some paper you cut in the shape of 2 rupee note, some paper you cut in the shape of 5 rupee note, and some paper you cut in the shape of 10 rupee. And make the piles. All the 1 rupee note, make 1 pile. All the 2 rupee note, make 1 pile. All the 5 rupee note, make 1 pile. All the 10 rupees note, make 1. And stamp. On the pile of 1 rupee, you stamp on all the papers 1, 1, 1, 1, 1. Similarly, on the pile of 2 rupee note, you stamp 2, 2, 2, 2. On the pile of 5 rupee note, you stamp 5, 5, 5, 5. And similarly, on the pile of 10 rupee note, you stamp 10, 10, 10. And I will sign on each piece of paper. And my sign will ensure that this is not a piece of paper, rather it's a currency of 1 rupee, 2 rupee, 5 rupee, or 10 rupee. And announced among the people that don't create chaos, come to collector office with some proof of identity like ration card. There will be 1 register in which your name will be written, your address will be written, and each one of you will be given 10 rupees. 10 rupees not actual, rather the fake currency which has been created at the collector office. So each one of you will be given 10 rupees. Take these 10 rupees, go to the market and purchase whatever you want. He instructed all the shopkeepers that treat these fake currency as the original currency. Whosoever bears this currency, you have to exchange the good in return of that. If you not do so, strict action will be taken against you. But you do what? You keep on collecting all these fake currencies from the people and instructed the people that after 1 week, when the bank will be opened, you go to the bank and you come to the collector office with 10 rupees actual. So at this juncture of time, I'm giving you 10 rupees fake, but when the banks will be functional, you come with 10 rupees actual. And instructed the shopkeepers, you keep on collecting all these fake currencies, and the moment you are getting the invitation from the collector office, you come to the collector office with the fake currencies, and all of your fake currencies will be exchanged with the actual currency. My friends, you listen to this story?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Nice story,
Yes, sir.
my friends.
Sir.
Very innovative.
So think over it. Was it written in the book that if you will face such type of problem, you have to do like this, my friends?
No, sir.
Not
No,
at all.
sir.
Not at all. My friends, each and every problem you can't teach in the classroom. Rather, certain kind of problem solving ability you have to inculcate in your students so that whenever they are facing the challenges, when they are facing the problems, they may solve the problem. And so far as this curriculum design is concerned, it is different from subject-centered and learner-centered because its sole focus is to inculcate problem-solving ability among the students. Its sole purpose is to providing more and more exposure to the real-life issues so that students might transfer the theoretical knowledge to solve their real-world problems. So definitely, design of such type of curriculum, such type of curriculum design, of course, is not a cup of tea. It's really very difficult. But it increases the relevance of the curriculum. It provides lot of opportunity to the students. It makes them creative. It makes them innovative. But the problem is that such type of curriculum design is very difficult, and such type of teaching also is very slow. If you have a huge syllabus that is required to be finished in a stipulated time, definitely then following this approach, it will be very difficult. Otherwise, but nowadays what's happening, in fact, so many universities of India, they have adopted this pattern. I have been a member of curriculum design committee of so many universities in the country. Now, our focus definitely is coming towards, slowly coming towards problem-centered curriculum design. So in a nutshell, these three types of curriculum design is prevalent in India, about which I have talked. That is, I started with the subject-centered curriculum design, then I talked about student-centered curriculum design, and finally, that is problem-centered curriculum design. Now, there's one question: what are the curriculum design tips? So again, there might be so many tips, there might be so many steps, but for the sake of clarity in my presentation, I have just mentioned 7 tips which are very important. And why I'm talking all these points about to you people at this juncture of time, definitely you are young people, but I'm quite sure the moment you will be senior, you will be member of the board of studies, you will be member of the academic council, you will be member of the curriculum framing committee of the university. So these tips definitely, I'm quite sure, is going to help you how a curriculum is designed. So any one of you, please read these 7 points which have been mentioned on this slide.
Sir, curriculum design tips. Number 1, identify the needs of the learner. Number 2, create a clear list of learning goals and outcomes. Number 3, identify constraints. Number 4, consider creating a curriculum map. Number 5, identify the instructional method. Number 6, establish evaluation methods. And lastly, remember that curriculum design is not a one-step process.
Right, Dr. Ghosh. Thank you, my friend. So definitely, in order to design a curriculum, the most important thing for us should be, we should identify the needs of the learners, what they want, for what they aspire. What's their interest? Because everything is done for them. So they should be the most important thing for us, their needs. Then create a clear list of learning goals and outcomes. What you are going to achieve through this curriculum after going through 3 years or 4 years or 5 years, after 2 years of study, after 1 semester of study, after 3 years of study, what the outcomes they are going to get. So it should be very clearly mentioned. Identify constants. What are these constants? It might be time constant. You are planning too much. But in universities, in Indian universities and colleges particularly, we have very less working days. So sometimes even, it's very difficult to get 180 days in the whole year. Sometimes it's very difficult to get 80 working days in a semester. So time constant is one thing. Resources constant. You don't have too many resources at your universities and colleges. So you have to keep that in your mind. Then the IQ level, the family background, the background knowledge of your student, all these are constant. So the moment you are designing a curriculum, you should identify the constant. Someone's mic is open. Please mute yourself. Someone's mic is open. Okay. Then coming to the 4th point, consider creating a curriculum map. So what is a curriculum map? This particular syllabus has 4 units. Every unit has 10 topics. So in total, there are 40 topics. I have 90 working days. So it means some topic will get 2 days, 2 periods, some topic will get 3 periods. So accordingly, I mean, each and everything, how I'm going to assess, how I'm going to teach this particular topic, how I'm going to teach that particular topic. I mean, everything detailed. So that is curriculum bank. Then identify the instructional methods. Most of the time we follow lecture method, but there are other methods as well. It might be heuristic method of teaching. It might be laboratory method of teaching. It might be project method of teaching. It might be assignment. It might be, you know, a case study. I mean, so many type instruction methods are there. So you identify. Establish evaluation method. That is how you are going to assess. And finally, remember that curriculum design is not a one-step process. So it's never like that you have designed a curriculum and it will be forever. So every 3 years, every 5 years, you have to change it. You have to modify it. And any curriculum design is not done by one single individual. Definitely there will be a team, and collectively you will do it. So in a nutshell, these are the 7 steps which are involved in the curriculum design, which you as a teacher should know. Now, the last thing, the last part of my lecture basically is related to the perspectives of curriculum design and development. And there are 4 perspectives, of course: technical scientific perspective, non-technical non-scientific perspective, then humanistic aesthetic perspective, and finally the social reconstructionist perspective. So I think that all these 4 perspectives will be taken 5 to 6 minutes. So within 5 to 6 minutes, I'm going to sum it up. So first, I would like to tell about first perspective, that is technical scientific perspective. So what is it? 4 points have been mentioned on the slide, and I would like to request any one of you to please go through the slide.
Perspectives of curriculum design and development.
Hmm.
Technical scientific perspective
Hmm.
reflect a traditional orientation about education and formal methods of teaching.
Yeah.
Involves a logical step-by-step procedure.
Hmm.
Focus on the end product or performance of the students. Subject-centered design.
Right. Who are you? Pukan ma'am?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay, Pukan. Thank you. So what is this technical scientific perspective? This perspective has traditional orientation about education, formal methods of teaching, everything formalized, everything is structured, everything, I mean, clearly chalked out, and it involves a logical step-by-step procedure. First this, then this, then this, then this. So a very traditional way of teaching, a very traditional way of a formal, methods of teaching. And mainly it focuses on the end product or performance of the students. So by going through this particular curriculum, by going on the path of this particular curriculum, what performance students are expected to give, or what will be the end product, this is the focus of this technical scientific perspective. And by and large, it uses subject-centered design. Now I'm coming to the another one, that is non-technical non-scientific perspective. So what is it? 5, in fact, points have been mentioned on the slide, and I would like to request any one of you to please read the slide.
Non-technical, non-scientific perspective.
Hmm.
Flexible and less structured curriculum considers that the curriculum evolves rather than being planned.
Hmm.
Based on the progressive philosophy, main concerns are needs and interests of individual learners and the society.
Hmm.
Give recognition to the importance of music, arts, literature, health, education, and humanities.
Right.
First, learner-centered and problem-centered designs.
Right. Right. So contrary to technical and scientific perspective, it is reverse of that, non-technical and non-scientific perspective. So you remember, in technical scientific perspective, everything was formalized, everything was structured. But here we have a less structured curriculum and we have so much flexibility. Then this basically perspective considers that the curriculum evolves rather than being planned. So this is the point on which I would like to take your opinion. What you have understood through this point, my friends? Curriculum evolves rather than being planned.
So My understanding is that as per the need and when we are going, before the class, we make a curriculum that is there, what we have planned that we will go by these points and everything. But depending upon the students, their understanding, the curriculum develops, it evolves while we are teaching. So we can implement it, we can have it, but depending upon the grasping capacity of the students also, we have to change and mold it according to them.
Okay, okay. Who are you, ma'am?
It's Dr. Priyanka Ghai.
Priyanka, ma'am. Priyanka, ma'am. Priyanka, ma'am, I'm just asking one question to you. Before 5 years, have you ever thought that you will attend a refresher course or faculty induction program without moving to that particular HRDC?
No, sir.
Not at all.
Not at all, sir.
But is it possible today or not?
Yes, sir, I'm doing it.
Definitely you are doing it.
Yes, sir.
And Phukan ma'am, I think she is at Dibrugarh. I mean, how much distant away from Aligarh? I think more than 2000 kilometers. Ghosh sir in West Bengal. You, I think, at Noida, ma'am, no?
Yes, sir.
You at Noida. I'm at Aligarh. Someone is in Ahmedabad. Someone is in Jammu. Someone is we all have been linked through technology. So, ma'am, in fact, what this point tells that whatever the social changes are taking place, you have to follow. You have to follow. Since education is given in the society. It is society which is responsible for the education. Education can't keep itself aloof. Education can't keep itself isolated from the society. So whatever the social changes are there, definitely you have to follow. So by that way, everything can't be planned. Rather, with the passage of the time, with the change in the society, with the change in the circumstances, curriculum evolves. So I'm quite sure you people have understood what I wanted to convey. My friends, you got it?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now coming to the third point. Non-technical and non-scientific perspective is based on progressive philosophy. That is, its main concerns are needs and interests of the individual learners as well as of the society. So, I mean, students doesn't want anything and we are unnecessarily imposing. So that is very undemocratic, that is very harsh, that is very autocratic. So progressive philosophy, what it tells, that you have to keep two things in mind. What's the need of the society as well as what's the need and interest of the individual. So this non-technical, non-scientific perspective focuses. Then this perspective gives equal importance, proper importance to music, arts, literature, health, education, and humanities. Now, you all are teachers, so I would like to take your opinion. Do you think that music, arts, literature, health, education, and humanities are important, my friends?
Yes, sir. Important.
Why?
आर्ट से हम लोग सिखा सकते हैं, जैसे कोई भी चीज आर्ट से भी सिखा
Arts
सकते
से. Okay. Priyanka
हैं.
ma'am?
और,
Sir, creativity and peace.
Yes. So have you heard about C.V. Raman? My friends?
ये भी बना.
C.V. Raman के बारे में सुना है आप लोगों ने? My friends, please respond.
जी सर, सुना है.
Who was he?
ये जो गणित है सर.
He was a physicist, Nobel laureate, C.V. Raman. And he was given the Nobel Prize for one discovery that he did. That was Raman effect. It is known by his name, Raman effect. So when he was doing this, theoretically driving the equation and all those things, so things were very difficult. So he tried a lot, but couldn't concentrate, couldn't find the way. So there was one guitar in that room. So he left paper and pencil, went to the guitar, started playing the guitar. And I think 40 to 45 minutes, he played the guitar. And then all of a sudden, some point came to his mind. Then he opened the paper and pencil, used the pencil, and then finally did the needful. And finally, he got the Nobel Prize. So music has its own importance, particularly in making you concentrate on some points. It relaxes from the stress, isn't it? Priyanka ma'am, Phukan ma'am, Ghosh sir, do you agree with me?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Music has the potential to release your stress, isn't it?
Totally,
Yes.
sir.
Totally. And what about today's poor students, ma'am? Don't compare them with you. When you were in your university, in your college life, you were less stressed. Nowadays, they are more stressed, isn't it, ma'am?
Yes, sir. And they have their own social life also to be maintained. In
They
our
have
time, we had
lot
no
of
social life to maintain.
of course.
Yes,
And
sir.
there are so many sources of their stress. They are very
Yes,
much
sir.
stressed. So in this situation, they need music. And as someone of you told, arts is the best way to express your creative potential. And nowadays we are talking a lot about creativity to create something new. So many countries, they are spending billions of rupees, billions, millions of dollars to promote creativity. And arts is one such thing through which you can know who has the creative potential. Literature is equally important to realize your social responsibilities, to realize you who you are, from where you have come, and for what you have been born. So literature in that way is very important. Health education always is important. But in today's era, when very young student, they are suffering from anxiety, they are suffering from depression, they are suffering from diabetes, they are suffering from abnormal weight gain, So in this situation, health education becomes very important. And similarly, humanities have their own importance. So this non-technical, non-scientific perspective gives recognition, equal recognition to all these. I mean, besides the other things, it gives equal recognition to music, arts, literature, health education, and humanities. Finally, non-technical and non-scientific perspective definitely prefers learner-centered and problem-centered design. It is not following the subject-centered design, which is very strict, which is very rigid, and which is very formal. Now, I'm coming to the third perspective, that is humanistic and aesthetic perspective. So definitely, it emphasizes on freedom, values, and abilities. It is based on democratic principles. It focuses on all-round development. It develops self-actualization. And finally, this perspective is neither mechanistic nor traditional, and of course, not rigid. Now, I'm coming to the last perspective. This is the last slide of my presentation. So, social reconstructionist perspective. So, social reconstructionism basically is a philosophy that was evolved in USA by one philosopher, Theodor Bremet. So, after the Second World War, whole of Europe was destructed, and America also faced a lot of destruction. So many countries faced a lot of destruction, lot of death, lot of sufferings, lot of miseries, lot of problems, lot of conflicts, So finally, when the World War was over, Bremet, in fact, through his writing, emphasized that let's reconstruct the society. And this reconstruction should take place through the education and through the democracy. So let's start the social reform. Let's start the social reconstruction. Let's create worldwide democracy. Let's establish values. Let's create a better society. And for that, the best way is education. And in education, the moment you are designing the curriculum, keep all those things in mind. Keep all those things in curriculum so that students may understand how a peaceful conflict resolution is possible. Students may learn that they will get nothing if they will quarrel. I mean, ultimately, infighting and quarreling, and war, it brings destruction only. So students should be trained for democracy so that they may know about their rights as well as their about duties as well. They may know how to overcome oppression and how to improve human conditions. And finally, this social reconstructionist, in fact, this philosophy got very popular, very much popularity in America as well as outside the world. And it influenced a lot. It influenced so many areas. It influenced literature. It influenced so many other areas. So it influenced the curriculum design as well. So this social reconstructionist perspective basically recognizes that education is the means of preparing people for creating a new social order which is based on democracy. And for that, we have to have a good curriculum. So all those things should be reflected in that curriculum. So my friends, thank you very much for listening to me. I think it is 7:25 by my watch, and since last 75 minutes, I'm continuously speaking. So I would like to put an end to my lecture. Still, we have 5 minutes, and we can utilize these 5 minutes in answering. If you have any question or if you want to share anything with me, definitely you can. Thank you very much.
Uh, good evening, sir.
Good evening.
Sir, all the thing which you have shared with us, one thing which must change our perspective towards education, that is your last point, social reconstructist perspective. Because,
Yeah.
sir, whatever you have taught till now, if we look at the social reconstructive perspectives, so naturally that will help us to understand the problem of this today's educational curriculum, and it will help us to, in order to modify that way, which should enable us to look for the better education opportunity for teacher and the student also.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Ghosh. So is there any other question? Any other question? Priyanka ma'am, Phukan ma'am, you people were very active. So do you have any question?
No, sir. It was a very interesting and very enriching session, sir. Thank you very much.
Okay. Okay,
Yes, sir.
Phukan.
It was very interactive too.
Okay. Priyanka ma'am, tell me one thing.
Yes, sir.
You were active in my session or passive?
Sir, I was active, but in between I became passive.
No.
Actually, my nephews are here, so they had the same TV time, so I had to shift room.
Okay. See, most of you were active, and it was simply because I was active. So, ma'am, if I would have started my presentation and I would have started just reading the points, so what would happen? In fact, you people would have been passive. So, online lectures are very boring. They are very rigid, in fact. So, important thing is that you have to keep your participants, you have to keep your students, you have to keep your listeners engaged. And that I tried to do. So, I don't know whether I am successful or not, but definitely I tried my best. Priyanka.
Yes, sir. It was very interactive. We were thoroughly being active and waiting for our turn.
Definitely. So make it a point whenever you are giving some online presentation, keep your participants engaged. Otherwise, it will be very monotonous, right? So, if any other question is there from any other participant?
No, sir. No, sir.
Okay. So, Dr. Shakir, you are there? Dr. Shakir? I think he's not there. So what's the custom? I mean, will anyone will officially say that I have to finish, or I can finish at my part?
Sir, there is no custom as well. You can finish it from your own side, sir.
Okay. So once again, my friends, thank you very much. This group really was very good, and particularly few people were very active. Ghosh sir, Phukan ma'am, of course, Priyanka ma'am, and other people. So I wish you all the best in your academic endeavors, and I wish that one day you become the resource person in some program, and I am the participant in that program, and I may learn a lot from you. So wishing you all the best. Thank you very much, my friends.
Thank you so much,
Thank you,
sir.
sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you. Goodbye, my friends. Now I'm going
Goodbye.
to. Yes. Goodbye, my friends. Goodbye.
Thank you, sir.